Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. Do not forget that Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan 83. Additionally, you can find me on YouTube. Simply look for Drew Duncan. The Full Court Press is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. And now you can follow our podcast, The Full Court Press by Drew Duncan, on Spreaker, Spotify, CastBox, and Google Podcasts. Guys, I am super thrilled to have a return guest on the program with us. You recently saw him in a fight with Jake Hager, a.k.a. Jack Swagger, at Bellator, in which he didn't come away victorious, but maybe he won the night after all. He's got a lot to discuss. His name is TJ Jones, returning to the program. TJ, thank you so much for joining the program once again.
Hey, man, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. First things first, TJ, are you still working at the plant, Diddy, or are you training full-time now, my man?
Well, you know, I'm training a lot more than I was before I got the Bellator fight. But no, I'm in Dodge City, and yeah, I'm still at the plant. Man,
hard work every single day. Do you feel that that's cutting in to your training regimen at all?
You know, I don't. And even if I was in a position to where I could just train full time, I would try to figure out a way to keep the job at the plant, because the benefits there and the insurance there are just too good to pass up, you know. And so I got to think about my family, and I got to think about their health. And right now I have everybody on insurance, and it's not costing me an arm and a leg, and that's kind of how I want to keep it.
Man, I know that's right. You got to take it cheap while you can get it, my man.
Absolutely.
TJ, I think going into your fight with Jake Hager, there were a lot of people initially who maybe felt that you didn't belong. But the way that you carried yourself, I think, changed the idea, and people saw the bigger picture with you while you were there in the moment. Has the mentality with you changed at all in terms of what your aspirations are going forward in MMA?
Yeah, you know, it has. It has a whole bunch. I took this fight because I told people, when Bellator calls, you have to answer the phone. You know, and I call myself a fighter. This is arguably the second biggest promotion in the world. However, when I took the fight, I was very much overweight. I didn't have motivation to do a lot. And slowly but surely, as the camp went on, and as I lost the weight, and as I started running more miles, and as I started hitting the bag harder and getting back to my form that I was before I stopped fighting, I realized that I still have such a passion for this sport. And I still have such just an appreciation and a respect for what we put ourselves through, not just me, but the other fighters as well. So, yeah, I went out, and now I have a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach. I have a team that I work with now. The whole experience has just changed me in so many positive ways.
You know, TJ, one of the things that I pointed out going into this fight was you hadn't had a bout since 2017. You took this fight, like you said, because it's Bellator, and that was the reason why you decided to take this fight. Do you feel that if you had maybe had a fight or two in between that time with Jake Hager, given some of the things that I saw happen, he had you up against the cage, but you were able to maneuver your way around. You even made a couple of good moves while you were on the ground there. Would it have been a different fight, you think, had you had another 2 fights or so going into this one?
You know, I think that's the thing. You know, you never exactly know how a fight's going to go anyway. You know, he could have thrown a straight right and knocked me out cold in 10 seconds. So the fight game is the most unpredictable game that that there is. So it's hard to say if I had a couple more tune-up fights. I think I'd have been a little bit more comfortable. I think I'd have been more ready for things that they were throwing at me, especially if I had the coaches that I have now. But I took the loss, and I told people, for a 2-minute and 36-second fight, I found 2 minutes and 36 seconds of positive material that I can learn from and I can work from. So I'm just taking this fight as a stepping stone to my next one, and I'm just continuing to get better, and that's the whole goal.
We're talking to TJ Jones right here on the Full Court Press. I am your host, Drew Duncan. He's preparing for another fight that is coming up here in July. TJ, obviously the big part of what happened with the fight was really after. There was the tap in which he said that he didn't feel you. He made excuses predicated upon his last experience in there. You seemed to kind of take it all in stride, said you had no beef with him. Now that everything has calmed down and you've had time to reevaluate how the fight ended with Jake Hager, what is your assessment at this moment?
Yeah, the only thing that Jack Swagger did for me is he allowed me to call him back out once I do get a couple more victories and once I do get a little bit more experience. As far as the whole big show game, I can if he hadn't done that, he can say what he wants to say, and everyone has their opinion, and I don't think his opinion's going to change, and my opinion's not going to change. However, had he just let go of the submission, I can't be like, oh, I want to fight, I'm calling you back out. But since he decided to hold that submission, and since he decided to attempt to hurt me, I think that justifies me to say, hey, look, I've gotten a little bit better. I have a team now. I've won a couple fights in a row. Let's run this back, and let's see what happens when I actually get a camp where I'm not focused on losing 60-plus pounds, when I don't have to put trash bags on and sweat 10 pounds a day off just so I can make the weight. The day of the weigh-ins, I was shaking. I was so hungry. It was just, that whole experience was that part of it was absolutely insane. So, yeah, I'm actually, in the long run, I'm glad he did it. I was a little mad at first, but now I think I have an excuse to say, hey, we get to fight again. And I think Bellator and Scott Coker and all those guys might let that happen, especially if I can run a few victories together.
The old saying is revenge is a dish best served cold. But honestly, my next question for you is simply this. When it comes to what happened, do you think that it's the inexperience? I mean, obviously we've seen this before, right? CJ Punk, no amateur fights, allowed to come right into the UFC. And we've seen other guys, like even The Undertaker said if it had been 10 or 15 years ago, he himself thought that he could have been involved in MMA. Do we need to start giving these guys tune-up fights and kind of make them go through the process that everybody else goes through to get to Bellator, to get to the UFC, etc.?
If I was at that level, I think I'd have more of an opinion on it. I got the call, I took the fight. The thing about it is it's still a business at the end of the day. And if you can sell tickets, if you can put fans in seats, that's what these promoters want. So it's really hard for me to say, he's never had a fight, now he's on Bellator. I've only had 2 fights, so I'm on Bellator. So I'd feel kind of like a hypocrite if I was like, these guys need more, these guys need more, more experience, because I didn't have a lot of experience either. But, maybe there can be, I know there's like a contender series for UFC and there's the Ultimate Fighter. Maybe there can be something like that. But as far as, I'm not part of the business, or, the business end of the fight game. So it's really hard to say.
You and I were talking before you went on air, and I had this question lined up in there, and I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there anyways. Your next fight is a non-Bellator fight, but I want to know, TJ, what can you tell us about any discussions that you've had with Coker or Bellator, or if anybody of any kind of influence in terms of what may or may not happen down the road for you?
All I know is I did get the chance to speak with some of the PR guys after the fight. My manager is in some contact with Bellator. He has other fighters on Bellator, and I know that there's a good chance that I'll be back on the show. It does hinder on me winning on the smaller shows, though. So, I mean, if I go out and I lose July 20th and I don't win, if I fight again between now and whenever Bellator might call, you probably won't see me back on. But if I can grab some victories and there seems like there's a good chance that I'll be back on Bellator. Knock on wood. So that's the ultimate goal, and that's what we're striving for.
TJ Jones is fighting out of Dodge City, Kansas. TJ, you know the deal. As I did with you last time, and I do with all of my guests, I give them an opportunity to say whatever it is that's on their mind. There's no right or wrong answer here. The floor is 100% yours.
Yeah, first off, I want to say thank you to my beautiful wife, Sarah. She's put up with a lot for me for the last few months, getting ready for this fight. Right now she's stuck at the house with the kids, 4 to 6 kids at all times at all times. So she's been a huge trooper through all this, and my heart goes out to her, and I thank her so much. The sponsors, Tropical, Island Tan and Fitness, the Kind Pen, Phillips Chiropractic and Physical Therapy, Central Station. You know, you guys are awesome, and I appreciate the support. And then, we're getting a fight team together here in Dodge City Fight Team, and hopefully we can make some strides doing that. And I just appreciate all the fan support. You know, I've had a lot of people come and message me positive things, and it's been such an experience, and I appreciate everybody. And from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you to all you guys.
TJ, you are staying so humble in terms of some of your superstardom, so to speak, that's been happening. Love how you're taking all this in stride. Very good to have you back on the program. Open invite anytime you want to come on, sir.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. I'll definitely take you up on that. Maybe after I win this belt, July 20th in Garden City, Kansas. The Southwest Kansas Heavyweight Championship's on the line, and I'll definitely get a hold of you. Maybe we can run it back.
Man, we got to talk about some football. I know you're a football guy, man. We got to talk some NFL at some point.
Oh, absolutely. We got to. If it's Kansas City Chiefs, I'm all ears. If it's any other team, I'll just talk to you about it.
Real quick, Patrick Mahomes, is he going to have another MVP caliber season this year?
I got him at 42 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Now the teams know about him, but his talent, it doesn't matter. He's not going to, I don't think, and this is just looking at it from a realistic point of view, I don't think we're going to see the 50 touchdowns, and I think we're going to see a few more interceptions. However, I think he's going to have like one of those careers where he's in the AFC Championship year after year, possible Super Bowl. I think he's going to do great things for Kansas City.
Provided that he can stay healthy after what we saw last year. I can't really disagree with you on that note. TJ, thank you so much for being on the program once again.
Hey, man, thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. All right, everybody. He's TJ Jones, a.k.a. Tombstone, and I am Drew Duncan, simply host of the Full Court Press. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan 83. We're on CastBox, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, anywhere that you get your podcasts. And as always, don't you dare touch that dial.